A New Media Revolution, Alexandra E. Petrie. A text from National Geographic. How many animals of each kind did Moses put on the ark? If you answered two, then congratulations, you're wrong. It wasn't Moses who put animals on the ark, it was Noah. As science has it, this question and others like it illustrate more than just a person's general confusion between two historic religious figures. It gets at the extent to which people rely on intuitive answers that pop to their mind as opposed to actually reflecting and checking whether the answer that comes to mind is right or wrong. Steve Sloman, a professor of cognitive science at Brown University and editor in chief of the journal Cognition, reviews why our brains try to trick us. It is rooted in our tendency, or lack thereof, to reflect and to double check, Sloman says. The trick with fake news is to know how to verify, and if you're reflective, then you're more likely to engage in the process of verification. And in a world where misleading news stories are the new norm, the Moses Ark question is a good predictor of whether people are susceptible to fake news. Such is the illusion of explanatory depth, our tendency to overestimate our understanding of how something works. But it's not always easy to discern factually inaccurate news stories, and we can thank human nature for our propensity to accept what we read without much question or reflection. In a recent article for The New Yorker, journalist Elizabeth Colbert reviews several studies on the human mind's limitations of reason, starting with groundbreaking work at Stanford 50 years ago. Coming from a group of academics in the 1970s, the contention that people can't think straight was shocking, Colbert writes. It isn't any longer. Thousands of subsequent experiments have confirmed and elaborated on this finding. What causes the logic breakdown? There are a number of ways in which reason fails us, leaving us vulnerable to factually incorrect news stories that spread like viruses and infect understanding of what's real and what's not. One of the relevant psychological concepts is motivated reasoning, writes Adam Waits, an associate professor of management and organizations at Northwestern's Kellogg School. Motivated reasoning is the idea that we are motivated to believe whatever confirms our opinions. If you're motivated to believe things about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, you're more likely to trust outrageous stories about her and what might not be true. Over time, motivated reasoning can lead to false social consensus. We've actually seen this recently, right? With the Capitol riots. Another related concept is naive realism, or the idea that our views are the only ones that are accurate. Such a notion contributes to polarization in political discussions. Instead of disagreeing with people, Waite says, we often dismiss their points of view as incorrect. We're all quick to believe what we're motivated to believe, and we call too many things fake news simply because it doesn't support our own view of reality. Sloman's research focuses on the idea that knowledge is contagious, hence his book title, The Knowledge Illusion: Why We Never Think Alone. Sloman recently published a paper called Your Understanding is My Understanding in the journal Psychological Science with Brown undergraduate Nathaniel Robb. In the web-based experiment, which examined more than 700 volunteers, Brown and Robb made up a phenomena in which the scientists supposedly discovered a system of helium rain. In one situation, they told the volunteers that the scientists do not fully understand the phenomena and cannot fully explain it before asking the volunteers to rate their own understanding of helium rain on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being the lowest. Most of the volunteers rated their answers at 1, admitting they don't understand the concept. However, in the second instance, Sloman and his partner told the volunteers that the scientists understand helium rain and can fully explain how it works. When asked to rate their own understanding, this group of volunteers submitted answers that averaged around 2. The fact that the scientists understand gave the volunteers an increased sense of understanding. The idea can easily be translated into politics. It's like understanding is contagious, Sloman says. If everyone around you is saying they understand why a politician is crooked, they saw a video about that person on YouTube, then you're going to start thinking that you understand too. How to fight fakeness. With all this research shedding light on what makes us so susceptible to fake news, is there a way we can protect ourselves against it? I don't think it's possible to train individuals to verify everything that they encounter, Sloman says. It's just too human to believe what you're told and move on. However, Sloman says he sees the potential in training a community to care about verification. Think of the headlines and stories that we all share on Facebook every single day. Most likely, those stories align with your worldview. We as a community should consider lowering the bar on what we should double check. All it takes is one person to comment that something doesn't add up. Develop a norm in your community that says, we should check things and not just take them at face value. Verify before you believe.